All right, Billy, another edition, players only. We've got a good one here. Garnet Hathaway, Philadelphia Flyers. We'll welcome him in right now. Thanks for taking the time, but we got to get right to it. We've had a few of your teammates on this year, and I love the dog mask. And we got this clip from the other night. You had a big game, and this is what happened afterwards.
Great job, boys. Way to lock it down in that third period, get the 2 points. First couple big saves, sealed, big fight. Let's go to Garnet. Yeah.
Good win, boys. It's a huge 2 points, but let's move on to the next one.
Oh, my gosh. Dude, the best part, I mean, I love the barking that you guys are doing. It's something you guys are rallying around, but I love just the conversation with the dog mask. Like, how great does that look? What did it feel like the other night?
Oh, it was awesome. It's always funny. I think we've had guys put it on, and you have to give the speech after you put it on. and I haven't done one of those yet, and you put it on, and I think you just forget everything you were thinking or how the game went or what happened. And then I think the bark is just the fun one. You know, some guys are howling, some guys are barking. We've had some good ones so far.
So you had a big goal, 9 hits in the game. We know about your physicality, and you bring it all the time. I just want to ask you because, I've watched you. We all know about you at the NHL level, but I think you have a pretty interesting upcoming to get to the NHL, right? So give us the background. I mean, says you're born in Naples, Florida. You went to Brown University. Can you kind of walk us along that journey?
Yeah. How long a segment do you guys have? I was born in Florida. I didn't spend long. I grew up in Maine. My dad was born and raised in Maine. I'm the youngest of 5, so I think when I was born, they said, "Hey, we're done and we're moving back." And that's where we'll raise the kids. And so, yeah, I spent my, basically from 6 months old through the end of college. I grew up in New England. Spent time in Maine growing up, and then went to high school in Massachusetts for a lot of it, and then went down to Brown. Was fortunate enough to get into Brown and go to Brown, and just have that awesome experience, and one that I think helped me get to the next level. When we probably had one guy, I think from each year kind of make it, but it was such a tight knit group that I got to see what it really took.
Garnet, 2-time academic All-American at Brown. Did you get a degree eventually, and what was your field of study? What were you going for as far as a degree?
Yeah, I have a degree. It's business entrepreneurship and organizations, and it's the business econ track of it. So there's 3 separate tracks, and I did the business econ. I haven't really used it yet, but it's been good to have. And I think one thing it's helped me, kind of remember that, I don't think I thought I'd be playing. I think my 9th year now. I didn't think hockey would be lasting that long. So it's been a lot of fun so far. And then, the time will come when that comes into use, but I'm putting it in the back burner so far.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the journey, and we've all had our own story, and I love this too because it's one that, like you mentioned, there hasn't, there's always someone that goes through a program that shows you, hey, I can make it or I can do it, but it sounds like it wasn't, you always want to play in the NHL, you always want to go as far as you can, but it wasn't any guarantee, right? And I was looking over some of your numbers even in the American League, and it was like all of a sudden you had this 1 year where I think we were at Adirondack, and you had some offensive production. What happened that year? Was it just one of those years where you're feeling it, or what point did you realize, like, hey, I can keep pushing this and I can make it to the National Hockey League?
I think it goes back to what we mentioned too. It's the guys I played with in college who probably weren't the most highly touted guys, but guys like Harry Zolnarchuk, Bobby Farnham, guys that had to work as hard as they could to make it to the next level. And that's what I got to see day in and day out. And then I think my first year, that was my first full year pro in Adirondack. And you get bounces here and there. You get more ice time. Just how things roll, I guess. Guys got injured. Guys got called up to Calgary, and I started getting time with the power play, which I didn't really have in college. I was penalty killing. I was playing a lot of big minutes, and I think I found out that my style of game could work better at the pro level than it did at college. And then with more time, more confidence came the more opportunity.
I mean, are you freaking kidding? You and Bobby Farnham on the same team? Are you kidding me? And then, hey, Harry was no slouch either. You guys just mix it up. I would hate to play against you guys.
And it was just seeing those guys. The same way they were on the ice that everyone knows. That's how hard they worked off the ice as well. So, yeah, Harry was a senior when I was a freshman. Bobby, I actually went to high school with for 2 years also. So, and then followed him to Brown. So I got to see, just the day in and day out hard work they put in, and got to see kind of what it takes to make it.
You make it there in Garnet. You're a scrapper. There's not a lot of fighting in college, and you work your way up. I remember a game earlier this season. You had a couple of fights, I believe, in the opening period. I was wondering if you're going to end up getting kicked out of the game. When did you realize, okay, to be part of this, I'm going to have to be scrappy. I'm going to have to drop the gloves sometimes if I want to have my role in the NHL?
I don't know if there was any one moment when I was like, oh, that's the way it has to be. I want to say my first, I played in Abbotsford right when I was still a senior in school. And I went out to Abbotsford in the A for about a month and a half. Got in a fight my first game against Jamie Devane, and that was an eye opener. And then ran into Wade Brookbank probably 6 games later, and he broke my nose, and there was blood everywhere. And I think at that point, Trevor Gillies was on my team, and I got to see that side of the game that I had never really seen before, or been introduced to. So yeah, it was eye opening, but being able to get that month and a half in before I went into my full year pro, showed me kind of what I needed to do, what I need to do better in the summer, what I need to focus on, and say, hey, this is what I need to improve on. This is what I need to kind of change my game, and base it around, it being a pro game versus college.
And you've had some, you've been around this game. You mentioned 9 seasons now, and I feel like you are in a place right now. It just seems perfect for you. The Philadelphia Flyers, that organization. John Tortorella, I say it on here all the time. Probably my favorite coach I ever had in the National Hockey League. Give us a quick little thing on your impressions and how your relationship is with Torts, but then also, So Philly is what you guys did this past weekend in the Stadium Series, and I hear that you and Scott Lawton were the two that kind of came up with the Rocky idea.
About Torts, he's honest, and that's the thing that the thing is, he'll tell you how he feels about your game, what you need to do with your game, and he won't sugarcoat it, but it's coming from a good place, and it's a place that it's going to make the team better in the end. And it's sometimes, I've had coaches that that will have those more private conversation, and Torts is the one that will air it out. And if you want to talk to him, the door is literally always open. And so it's made for that conversation, that if there's a hard one you need to make, if there's something you're not happy with, if there's something about your game you need to talk to him about, hey, go in there, and you'll hear an honest opinion that will, if you stick to it, it'll help your game.
Garnet, too, just to go back in a little bit to the past, your uncle worked with Ted Leonis. You're a big Washington Capital fan growing up. You got a chance to spend 4 years in a Capital uniform. What was that like for you before you got here to Philadelphia?
I loved every moment in DC. When you said I was a Caps fan, because at the time when I was growing up, the Portland Pirates were the AHL affiliate. So my brother's 2 years older. We would go to games together. he was a big Olaf Kolzig fan. And so when I got to DC, Ole was around all the time. It was crazy. And like you said, when I was 8, I ended up going down to, right when they opened the new rink down there in DC. I got to meet a lot of the guys in the team, get a Cal Johansson signed stick from the team, and then being able to wear that jersey was special. And to kind of settle in too, it was the first time I'd had multiple years on a contract. I found a house. I stayed there for all 4 seasons, and I really got to, really experience what it was like to be an everyday player in the NHL. And I grew my family down there. I had 2 kids born in DC, and it changes perspective a lot. But DC will always have a special place in my heart.
Olaf Kolzig, interesting name. I played junior hockey with Olaf in Tri-Cities, and me and Stu Barnes, we used to run around the golf course for a long time together. Interesting tie-ins there. Did you ever get a chance to meet Olaf?
Yeah, he was around, and it was, I think that was, we talk about just surreal experiences playing for teams that you watch growing up. DC was special, and then I come to Philly, and I'm in a first practice in camp, or like John LeClair's on the ice, like just things I never thought would happen, and just making it so special and trying to figure out, like, was that real? Like, did that really happen? That just kind of shows you what type of organizations those are to keep those special players around, and help them kind of teach the guys coming up what it's all about.
Hey, we got a fun segment we're going to get to in a second. And my last one for you, though, is this past weekend, how was it out there at MetLife Stadium Series? I mean, personally, I think they should have these same 4 teams do it every year at MetLife. I mean, what they said, there was 80,000 each game in attendance. I mean, it just seems like a natural.
It was amazing. Yeah, it still blows my mind how they figure out how to put a rink with that good of ice outside in front of 80,000 fans, and have the production they did, and have it kind of seamless for the players as well. We had everything we needed, whether that was equipment on our end or timing. It can be a little wonky when you're trying to warm up. You're figuring out when you're going on the ice, what's going on, how are the ice conditions. But on Friday we had our practice, we had our families come out and skate, and then Saturday you can see it was a hard-fought game. They're a good team, but now I'm watching the highlights too when I'm there too. It was special. One out of the 82 games, if you're lucky enough, a season, and then to that scale, it's just incredible. And I'm glad they have more and more of them. I think it's special for the players, and obviously the fans enjoy it, and they're watching and they're showing up. So that's pretty awesome.
No, they'll always show up for those. I mean, they do such a great job of branding them, and then big moments like that when you talk about how many people you can get into a stadium to watch a game, they're always going to sell those out. I mean, everybody wants to see it. So special weekend in the NHL, that's for sure. All right, so we got a segment here we're going to end with. It's called What Were You Thinking? We're going to show you a picture, video, whatever, and you let us know what you were thinking in that moment.
Oh, here we go.
All right, let's go. You'll remember this one for sure, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
What we got?
Mark Giordano will probably never let me live it down. An ugly first goal. Thank God there's cameras that show the smallest deflections in the world, but yeah, it was. That's a plaque and a puck that I've been holding on to, and it's up in the house right now. You only get a certain amount of them, so that's just a heavy Dougie Hamilton shot, and me saying, I touched it.
Years down the road, they don't care though. It's going to be end to end.
Oh, they don't ask how. I have the puck, and it's from the Joe too. So that was the last year the Joe was open, and
That's
that was
super cool. Yeah.
That's fun to look at. It's fun to hold on to, and then I'm sure when my kids understand what it is, hopefully they won't try and keep pulling it down like they do now.
All right, we got another one here. Usually you're kind of dishing these out, but it looks like our boy Tuukka Rask is he giving you a blocker punch right here?
Yeah, he gave me a few of them actually. I'd say Coyle pushed me in. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
You got pushed in.
you got pushed in, and then Miller threw you down.
There's another one. That's playoff hockey, I guess. Look at that. I don't think I ever got a chance to get him back, but that's all right. I saw him around too. We, being in Boston, we had a great charity event, a ping pong event where I met him last year, right after I got traded. So I think we brought it up pretty quickly. Kind of recognized each other, but laughed it off too.
When things are getting hairy like that, is that when you thrive? Is that when the juices are going for you?
Yeah, I think I don't know. It's like the chicken or the egg, right? I don't know what comes first. Does that happen? Then you get a little more into it. You get bought in the game, or does that just come along with it? Like I'm taking the puck hard to the net and I'm already going, and then stuff happens. I don't know. It gets riled up, but I don't know. Usually I like to just hope it comes as it comes, and I'm just a part of it. I'm not the guy starting it, but I don't know if that's true.
Are you a chirper?
I wouldn't say so. I think I probably yell at the refs a little too much. They decent conversations with them, but no, not out of my way. I'll say something here or there if I don't like what happened in the last play, or someone may be taking a liberty on someone else or me. I'll try and say something, at least so they know I'm there. Or if from the bench, it's a lot easier just to make sure they can hear you when they're going back to their bench. You see them turn their head a little bit. So they're thinking more about you than the game, which is always good.
Yeah. Who's the guy on the Flyers that's just chirpy? Who's the guy?
Oh, it's got to be TK, no? That guy's always running his mouth.
TK and Lottie, it's so nice playing with them, honestly, because I thought I just imagined it playing against them, that they were so chatty, and they were just, every chance they got, they say something. But now it's directed at somebody else, and it's kind of
feels
out of my way, so I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, TK has some good ones though. He probably prides himself on it. Lottie a little less chatty, but TK probably takes the crown for that.
It's good when you get the witty ones, right? The guys are really good at it. It's impressive. When I was joking around, we got Scotty Hartnell on the other day, and playing against Hartsey. I mean, he was good. I remember the one time I thought I was chirping him hard because he signed a big deal, and I think he only had like 2 or 3 goals by December sometime, and I was chirping him about it, and he just like, better be overpaid than underpaid. I'm like, you have a point, I guess not. You know what I mean? So it kind of just shut it up right away. He just owned it and was like, yeah. And then he went on and he got it going in the second half of the year. But this one, though, when it's all said and done, this picture's got to be on your wall. Come on. Like, that's Connor McDavid?
Oh. You know what? I don't have a picture of that, and I haven't seen that one in a couple of years.
That's because Oiler Nation tried to bury the record of it. We got it though. We'll get it for you.
You can't get it anywhere.
Oh, it's a good hit, man.
I think I saw him a split second before he saw me. I think it was kind of a 50-50 puck, and I want to say I was going as fast as he was, but I don't think that's true. But yeah, it's just.
You got to get that one framed, dude. You got to get that one on the wall.
He probably got up and scored right after that too. So
on the wall, that would be awesome.
Hey, but
odds are pretty high on that. So
yeah, well, I mean, listen, I'm sure he's done some damage against teams you've been on, but like this is the one moment where you're like, hey, I hit him. No one else can hit this guy. I got him. But all right, we got one last one here.
Oh, awesome.
I mean, let's be honest, though. Like, the three of you are the perfect guys having there. Was that you got Sealer, Delorier, and yourself?
Yeah, we sit near each other on the bus, and you know how that was an awesome engine. Just the way to enter the rink like that was amazing. And we were, they kind of funnel you in to take the photo, and there's a couple guys at a time, and it just happened to be I was right around, like you can see Nick behind me. I was like, okay, we're doing this thing together. And I asked him, it's like, all right, you're in the middle, we're in the sides. And, even right after the game, somebody sent to me right after the game, and Seals was right next to me, and I showed it to him. He goes, "Oh, I know." I'd be lying if I hadn't make it my background on my phone for a little bit, just so I could keep showing D'Lo. But that's a fun one, and that'll probably be in on the wall before the McDavid one. But maybe I'll get both.
Do you got any boxing in the off season as part of the training program?
I have in the past. Last summer, I moved around a little bit. I did a little bit. The guys on Boston had a good connection, so I did a couple there. But it's a great way. I mean, just for the footwork and for the hands, I think it's a good way. I should probably start bringing it back, to be honest with you.
So you fit the bill perfectly in the Rocky outfit.
That was you guys knocked it out of the park with that. That was incredible seeing that coming off the bus. So,
No, thanks.
hey. Appreciate your time. It's been fun watching you guys. You're a big part of the reason why this Flyers team's so difficult to play against. And give Torts our best, and we'll catch up down the road.
Sounds great. Thanks, guys, for having me.
Best of luck.